Hey, what's up everybody? This is Gigi from ComicWow coming at you from Baltimore Comic Con 2014. I am pleased to be here with Trevor Schubert, who is an independent artist and illustrator. We're going to talk about a whole bunch of things, including some great pieces you've brought. But first, we were talking a little off camera about how this is your third Comic Con that you've attended?
That's right, third for Baltimore. I do a few here and there, usually some local ones to my native area, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, but Baltimore's always my big one. I love coming out, third year, and actually this year's been their biggest one. I think they've had it's a three day,
yeah.
So it's been cool to see kind of the dynamic of that shift a little bit, and just the flood of people that we've had consistently throughout the whole weekend has been fantastic. Lots of new fans, lots of people that are, as an artist, as you start to get traction, as you start to come back to the same place again and again, you start to get that local fan base, and it's such a rewarding experience when they come back and they're like, hey, what do you have this year? What's new? What's exciting? And it's just neat to be able to get that kind of fuel for the fire, right? Because you just want to impress them, and you appreciate the fact when you've got some guys that are just really into your stuff. So I certainly have a couple things I can show off along those lines.
Let's go through a couple of the pieces that you brought for us.
So I guess I was telling you, G, I mean, I started off as the conventions I started. This is my third big one for Baltimore, but prior to this I was doing a lot of stuff with the horror circuit, and I still do. So a lot of my things up until this point have been kind of along this genre, where I just kind of have these very stylized original pieces. A lot of the originals were actually on canvas, airbrush, and I just took some high quality scans of them to be able to then get that kind of crispness. You can still see kind of the print of the canvas, kind of the texture in there. So kind of a few along those lines. But as there's another one for you. Ta-da! So as I continue to do things along those style, I got picked up by a company, Paranoia Comics, to do their comic book character, this guy right here called Necro-Man. He's an undead superhero. We have issue 1 in the books. That was last year that we had that one out and about, and we're currently finishing up issue number 2 right now, and I'll make sure that we get all the information up to ComicWow as far as the release date for that, because it was originally a few months ago, but we just, it's how it happens. I mean, the cool thing working with guys that are at that kind of level, yes, there's a deadline, yes, there's a fan base, but it's almost that mentality of like it'll be done when we're ready for it to be done, when it's at that quality that we want. So every time I tend to craft out a new panel or come up with a new idea, all of a sudden the writer goes, Mark Scholl goes, wait a second, I have a different idea for that now. So then there's always this constant kind of fidgeting that happens, but it's all good. I mean, you want something that the fans are going to expect. You want something that you can be proud of, and that's what we're trying to achieve with Necro-Man issue number 2. So that'll be out sooner than later.
Yeah, I think that keeps it round too. It keeps it from being a flat story. When you feel like it needs to go in a different direction, and they feel like they need to adjust it, you gotta kind of go with that instinct.
So we actually, Mark was here as the Flash today, running around, and we
literally.
kind of, yeah, really. We brainstormed for a bit. We made a plan to come up the next couple weeks, so we're going to catch up and just lock ourselves away for an entire day and get this thing done. So that should be out there sooner than later.
Fantastic.
But as I was mentioning before, kind of that whole flow of being able to come back to a convention with new prints and new things and new images and new styles that people can just kind of go nuts over. Here's a few I whipped up over the last couple of weeks. I definitely want to show off, just personally proud of just some individual images here. So.
And so where does your inspiration come from when you're drawing? Is it something just comes to your head, or do you see something and then kind of want to?
It's a little bit of everything. I mean, I think one of my first interviews with you guys, I mentioned to you that my original inspiration was with my dad. I grew up reading his old comic books, and that was a big thing for me because he was never one of those that was overly protective of the comic books. They weren't in like the perfect plastic
exact opposite of my father.
There you go. Well, for me it was a good thing to grow up as in my single digits, to be reading X-Men's in the single digits, to be reading Spider-Man's in the single digits. They're not in mint condition anymore, but what's in my brain as a result of that, I think is worth its weight, and it's certainly paying off when I get to do images like this, and we got a little Wolverine action for you here.
Fantastic.
It's just fun to try and come up with different concepts and different styles that are just, I like to try and have a very sketch feel to it, but and then I jump right into movies and do pieces that just kind of inspire me. A lot of it's usually at the request of my kids. Daddy, can you do Maleficent? I have an 8-year-old daughter and then 2 boys, and they're just, they're all into this stuff
and one
too.
day they'll be asking you to design their tattoos.
Oh, yeah, that's true. So we got a little Frank the Bunny action.
So you mentioned your work with Paranoia. What other projects is your art being developed into?
Well, if I can go back in time a little bit, one of the first things that I did, I guess, as an artist that was forward-facing, other than just kind of doodling and being inspired by my dad's comic books, I went to school way back in the day for media arts and animation, and that's something that as kind of the digital world has progressed, I've been able to kind of start to revitalize that a little bit. So I'm happy to say I'm wrapping up one and I'm about to start a new. I have 2 different music videos I'm doing for 2 other independent artists. The one is Billy Rains, and hopefully as I have that produced and released, then I can share that with you. It's going to be an entire animated video for a song that he has called Ivory. The other one I'm in the finishing stages of at least just getting the preliminary storyboard done for, which is kind of weird to say the beginning of the end of the end of the beginning, is for a group called One Echo One, and it's going to be one of their songs called Children of the Dead. So it's this whole series of these
a lighthearted song.
Zombie kids is actually what the video is going to be about. So it's going to be this whole animated piece, and I'm actually animating everything myself. So as I kind of storyboard everything out, I'm using programs like Motion Artist and other things to try and figure out kind of where I want to have full animation, where I want to just kind of have something pan from one scene to the other. So, you know, if anybody's familiar with animation, usually one guy, that's a lot to tackle.
That is a huge undertaking.
It's just something that, you know, I'm passionate about, and I will keep on trying to rock. So music videos,
it's a very old-fashioned style too, because I talk about. I've said to my friends numerous times. I remember when I had my old Cinderella cartoon on like VHS, which is still my favorite way to watch it.
Nice.
And the credits are like 10 names. It's like, this is who made the movie. Now you see an animated movie, and it's like 500,000 names go through, because it's such an undertaking with everything. So kudos to you for being able to animate something all on your own. I know that's got to be a lot, especially as a dad. So, sure. So, can you give a little bit of advice maybe to some artists that are out there, some of our ComicWow viewers that are looking to get into this, and some of the things you've learned, hard knocks, you know, the pros and cons?
Yeah, I'd say just you know, every artist by I guess every kind of we all kind of fall victim to the same stereotypes, and I think we all kind of earn them. Is the fact that you're the procrastinator in you, or that hey, I've got something else on the plate that's more important. Let me get to this. Let me get to that. You end up selling yourself short. If you're something that you're truly passionate about, force yourself to spend 5 minutes on it. And if you spend 5 minutes on it, the next day spend 10 minutes on it. The next day spend 15 minutes on it. Do those things. Keep producing your own images. In addition to obviously doing things that are, you know, that inspire you, right? In addition to doing images that inspire you, you know, keep trying to find the time to create your own stuff, because as you find those people that are into, it's almost the equivalent of a cover band in the music world, right? You're going to have these songs that people are going to be into because, hey, that's their jam, right? This is somebody's jam, right here. But ultimately, you know, when they come to you for that, they're going to stay to you. If they like your art, they like your style, just keep at that and keep trying to develop something that just kind of has your own definition and your own flow to it. That would be my best advice. And keep using social media, keep using ComicWow, keep using places like that to get your information out there, because, you know, there's just nothing like, again, being able to come back to a convention that you've been at years before and have people excited to see you, because, you know, you've got a fan base, right? Yeah. And that's the easiest way to develop it.
That's got to be the most exciting feeling, to have it when the first time you come and you're the newbie, and then the next time somebody remembers you from it. So, well, your art is very impressive, and you told us that you're going to be giving us some exclusives via ComicWow, so things that people can only find on ComicWow. So just remember, if you're a fan of Trevor's work, which you should be, then you want to keep in tune with ComicWow, because that's where you're going to be able to find some things, exclusive first looks at any of his work that's going on. So thank you so much. We appreciate you taking the time to talk to us. Your art is absolutely incredible. We wish you luck in that animating process of that music video. Trevor Schubert, you can find out more information about him on comicwow.com. This is Trevor, I'm Gigi, and you're welcome.
Thank you.